Okay, we're going to pretend that it's working. All right, let me get back up to the top. Okay, right off the bat, before the show even started, one of the biggest commenters on my channel, Brian Walter, immediately jumped out there and asked a question. I even prepped a couple of questions on the side there to be like, hey, let's see if we can't get anybody. But here we go. Brian asked, with all the adventure, history lessons told and untold, have you reluctantly ever not told the entire story because of political kindness or more? Well, let's see. I think the more is the more, Brian, if you're on, or is it morals? Let's see. We're gonna, and everything's on a 20-second delay. I do apologize for that.
A 3-second delay.
All right. So to answer that question, there are currently in my list of projects, I have places like Academia, Girls School, Canal Guard Lock and a feeder dam, the story of fairies, the Forest Park Zoo, Indian Caverns, and Pandemonium and Moxum. Okay, so there's just a few. Well, the biggest one, though, is... where is it? The Buchanan Pyramid. So I already have those recordings done, and I can't post them because from a political standpoint, or even from a non-political standpoint, and what the people did, it's horrifying. I can't talk about it without leaning one direction or the other, from conservative or to liberal or either way. And I'm not going to give you my political views, but I will tell you I can't tolerate stupid, not even a little bit. So when I actually do this research, I go, oh, I can do this and I can dress it up really nice. And I do run into issues often where the politics that are involved in it just get too heavy. And I have my own opinion that I'd like to express, but I try to give you guys everything based on fact and truth. And if it does seem overly political, I dress it up a little bit so that you could see that, no, we're not talking politics here. We're just talking, that's the way it is. So I hope that answers that question. Let me start scrolling down a little bit here. First jump down at the bottom. All right, let me get back up to the top here. All right, down to Mr. Gladfelder. Tie into one of mine. Yep, James Buchanan, birthplace. Dude, the pyramid one. I rewrote the script for that 12 times. And out of those 12 times, it was at least 6 times were completely new drafts. I literally took the document, deleted it, and started from scratch. That's how hardcore it was, because I just got so angry at the situation. I mean, he's officially considered the worst president. Questionable. But even there, I'm not going to tell you what I really believe and what I really see on that, because that's unfair to people that we'll leave that to the other channels. If you want that kind of stuff, I could recommend a large number of channels that really go deep into that, and they don't give me any kickbacks. But I tell you, start with like John Burke. Go check him out and see what he has to say. I know he's very publicly about it, but there's also, Steve Crowder. You go check them out. I'm on the same page they are for the majority, and I lean very heavy toward what John Burke says. So it's not always a left or right thing. A lot of times it's just stupid people doing stupid stuff. Let's see. Yeah, look at that. The indentured servant's in there. We're just going to scroll right past her. All right, another one from Adam at the top here. What inspires me to do this, and what do I aspire to do with shows in the future? Okay, so as a good number of you know, my previous job history, I did a lot of travel. And when I say a lot of travel, I did a lot of travel. And life kind of got a little bit difficult with the flying. So I decided, you know what, I'm just going to drive everywhere. And along that driving, I did what all of you do too. Or I assume all of you do. A lot of times when I'm driving, I'll see something and I'll go, I wonder what that is. And then I'll just keep driving. And then there's times where I go, man, it looks so cool from a distance, whatever it is. I should really go check that out. But when you're working a job, you do reach a point where it's like, I just need to get to the job, do the job, and bail out, go home, be with my family, be with my dogs, take care of household stuff, things like that. Well, I've been doing that for many, many years. And there's a quote going around on both TikTok and Instagram right now about, why do you wake up in the morning and you go to work to do something you don't want to do, that you actually hate, to make enough money to live a place you don't want to live, to go to sleep and wake up and be equally miserable every time? And I went, you know what? It's time for me to stop doing that. And one of the things I do love is I do love to be on the road, and I love to find out what these old things are on the side of the road. So that's how this all started. My father started going with me. My wife would go with me on occasions. And I was planning out my job so that on the way, I could put in an extra day to stop at these sites and take a look at them. Then I was like, I want to do this all the time, not just once in a while, all the time. So I actually left corporate America. I went from financially well-to-do to YouTuber, not so much financially well-to-do. And I've spent every penny I've had to travel and learn the history about these sites that are on the side of the road, just out of sight, things that people don't even know what's in their own backyard. And I'm loving it. And in the future, my progress is to reach a point on YouTube where I'm financially stable. And I don't mean well-to-do, because I've been rich and I've been poor. And I'll tell you, when you're poor, life is so much better. It is so much better. And I want to get back to a stable point where I have enough money to expand the show beyond the state of Pennsylvania. It kind of originally was an idea of like, maybe I could get people to pay me money and I will take them someplace, and vicariously through me, they will get to explore it. I mentioned my father. I brought him into this stuff, and I was like, you know, he's getting older. He can't do these walks anymore. He can't climb these buildings. He can't go into these caves. He can't go to these locations. And as some of my videos have shown, there are some sites that, well, I probably shouldn't have gone to. Heart attack, type 1 diabetes, those kind of things get in the way. But I'm determined to hit as many sites as I can for as many people as I can before I can't do it anymore. And that is the future direction of Scott's Odyssey. Hope that answered the question, Adam. Let's scroll down a little more. Everybody complaining about echoes. Scottception, thank you, everything man. Let's see. Going. Oh, by the way, hi, everybody. Brian, DB, Rustic Ventures. Hi. Nobody got upset if I didn't say your name. Got Bob Earhart on there. I love talking with all of you in the comments. I really do. I don't just do that because, well, YouTube algorithm really likes when you interact with people. No, I interact with you because you're all awesome people, and it's a lot of fun. Let's see. There's the indentured servant. Except for her, she's no fun. She claims that she is my #1 fan, and that I ignored her comment, but I did mention her. And you see, the young, it's all lost on the young. I mentioned her and told her whatever, and she's still going on there. All right, let me get on. Brian, I see that you got on late. Hopefully you heard the response to your question. If not, catch it on syndication. That'll be, as soon as this is over, I'll wrap it up in a nice little bow and post it so everyone can watch through it again. Rumble is a good idea. Not doing Rumble, actually doing free Streamlabs OBS, and spent probably 2 hours today learning it inside out. And let me scroll up. What I'm seeing right now in front of me is the YouTube stream, and it appears to be working. So that's good. Over here, I have this other person. Shh, you be quiet over there. I have this other person over there who's doing a double check for me, making sure everything's working. All right, coming down. Let's see. Who's your favorite servant, and why is it Aaron? Okay, let's get the indentured servant daughter out of the way. Aaron is my baby. I have 2 older boys biologically, and they're really cool people. They're doing their thing in life. They're working through life. They like to go on adventures, but they don't like going on adventures, so it's kind of weird. You might have seen them in the Tytuna Cave. But Aaron, well, you know, she's like an infection you can't get rid of. Okay, she just shows up at random, comes along one of these adventures, and then the next thing you know, she thinks it's her show. And don't tell anybody, it's not her show. But I'll just keep leading her on like that. So anyway, to answer Aaron's question, who's my favorite servant? All of my children are my favorite servants. And why is it Aaron? Well, because you keep coming back and you won't go away. You get it? You get it? You're 18. Get out. Go. Be gone. Okay. So what was my most fun video to make? That's coming from Jeff T. Jeff T, love you. Thank you again for donations that you popped in out of nowhere. Out of nowhere. Other people had watched many shows and all, and you just popped in and you hooked me up. Thank you so much. The Odyssey loves you for that. So what was my most fun video to make? Honestly, all of them. Some of them have been very, very frustrating when I go to make them. Sometimes I get into altercations with my spouse, who tends to be a person who would hold up script on pieces of paper, has always been there for me, always supported me through it. But get into some creative differences. It happens. But it's always fun. There's something fun about it, whether it's the site. Some sites feel like they suck, but when you learn the history behind it, and I'm an introvert, and I don't come off as somebody who's very empathetic, but believe it or not, I have this big spot. It's probably about the size of a BB inside my black stone heart. And sometimes it's like the Grinch, and it swells up, and I'll find myself crying over a story that I'm scripting out, or I'll go to a site and I can just feel how hallowed it is. And there's always something about these shows that are just spectacular. This one, I'm nervous as all heck. I can't shut up. I'm being a little bit, I know I'm supposed to be like talking because it's vlog and all that, but I almost feel overly chatty, which is a self-preservation mode that introvert people go into. So what was the most fun to make? If I had to pick one and put it at the top, it would have to be Tytuna Cave, because I went someplace that later I was told I shouldn't have gone to, did it in a way I was told I shouldn't have done it. And it was just confirming everything that I do in these videos, that people want to tell their own story and they don't want to tell the story of the site. And I had brought my children along and experienced something that was just amazing. And then when we reached the blockade and we had to like jump over a blockade and go underwater, it was kind of like Lara Croft, the video game. And it was just a real life experience and explore that anything could have gone wrong and bad things could have happened. We were in waist deep 50-degree water most of the time, and we just kept chugging along. And I knew it was a good explore because when we left, all three of us, myself, Aaron, indentured servant daughter, and indentured servant son number 2, we were exhausted and we were sad to leave. And that was the key. We were sad to leave. So that's the one I'd probably put at top. Okay. Narnian Railway. The depth of research that I do a lot of research online. And I will go to Wiki, which is a horrible place. Don't get your information from Wiki. But what Wiki will give you at the bottom are links to official documents, official research sites. I spend a lot of time in the Library of Congress online. But at the same time, I don't know if you can see it behind me here. If I go this way, right here between the ammo box, or to the left of the ammo box, that's a lot of my Pennsylvania research. It's a lot of books that have been obtained through auctions and different locations, libraries that are throwing them away. It's the real history. These books all date back to 1700s and 1800s, and some from the early 1900s. So I do whatever it takes. And what ends up happening is when you actually start doing the research and you put some things together, it daisy chains and takes you down rabbit holes that you can get lost in and go so far away from the story you're trying to do. But because of that, we get to find out things like in the episode where I talked about Shaver in Shaver's Creek and how he got beheaded, and then found out that his landlord, who was from a different county, decided to come in, take over the property as property manager, mysteriously married his widow, and then his Shaver's brother ends up dying too. And you go, wait a minute. And then I started researching genealogy on it and all. And I'll tell you what, if that man did not kill the Shaver family, I don't know who did, but it definitely wasn't Indians. Let me scroll down a little bit more. Kathy, you got a lot of messages that you retracted, but we'll check that again in a little bit. I hope you figured out what you were trying to say. Kathy is Rustic Ventures. She also does similar to what I do, or I should say I do similar to what she does. She was doing this long before I was. She is a wonderful person. Highly recommend you go check out her channel, Rustic Ventures. She is awesome. Where do we find indentured servant contracts for our own minions? Adam, you'll be happy to know that the moment your spouse or your partner becomes, whatever that thing is when you don't want it to happen, but it happens and you end up with a clone of yourself or part of yourself, instantly, indentured servant, right there. They will do whatever, because you have to feed them, clothe them, school them, all that stuff. Guess what? Indentured servant. Make it work. Lean on that. Let's see. L3GG, or you want me to call you Leg? Hello from German, PA. That's an interesting location. I'm still doing research up that way. We have this problem where there's a lot of stuff in central Pennsylvania, and there's a lot of stuff in NEPA-SEPA, which is northeastern Pennsylvania, southeastern Pennsylvania, and same with the west. And then there's a barrier equally large between central Pennsylvania and western, and central Pennsylvania and eastern, where there's nothing. There's absolutely nothing. It is just Pennsylvania wilds. And I'm trying to find things in those locations. And German, PA is one of those locations, believe it or not. Center of attention on my channel. That's Aaron again. Yeah, we're just going to skip past that. Narnian Railway, please stop doing that. She does not need encouragement, okay? Okay, what's my NANA? What's my cop-out answer? You hook me up. You re-ask it, and I'll address it differently. What is your go-to for research? We hit that. When my drone drowned, did you think could I find it? When it went down, the water that was coming out was probably about 1,000 gallons per minute. It was flowing. And I knew that I'd be able to find it because all of that water was puddling at the spring and was only going through a 4-foot metal corrugated tube underneath the road. And as soon as it reached the other side of the road, it went to a shallow pool that was created from water flow when the turbulent water comes through and it pushes the dirt up. And I knew that there could be a pocket there. And then there were a series of, it almost looks like a dam, but it's not a dam. But the water was flowing over to drop down another 3 feet before it reached the actual stream and river. So I knew that there was a high chance that I would find it. I also knew previous to the drone going down, where it went down at the entrance to the cave. So it was one of those, well, there's a chance I'll find it. It's a 4-pound battery. It might be right there. But if it went down in that hole, I was like, yeah, it's not going to happen. What I think actually happened was the force of water coming up out of Tytuna's exit was so much that it stopped the drone from going down into the cave and forced it against the bank at the entrance, because that is exactly where I found it. I did have my underwater camera, and I had put it in, and I was like, yeah, there it is. Oh, all excited. And I was like, this is going to be great footage. I forgot to push record because that happens. Believe it or not. I was so disappointed. I'm like, well, I'm not going back into that water because it was so cold that Brad and I, when we went into it, we thought we were in that water for 35, 40 minutes. And when I reviewed the footage, we were in the water for 8 minutes. And it just blew my mind. I'm like, dude, We talked about that for weeks, about that. So did I think I was going to be recovered? I knew that it was 50-50, and my hope was in the 90s. So I believed I was going to find it no matter what. And if I didn't find it, I don't know what I would have done. I think I would have cried, because I know you guys like the drone footage. I love playing with the drone. The things you can see from above are incredible. Hope that answered that. Overly chatty, you. Yeah, thanks, everything, man. Let's see. Ricketts Glen in the winter. I'll be doing Ricketts Glen. You know, I've been driving around doing all these other shows, and in case I was going to go to Ricketts Glen, it's still sitting in the back seat of the truck. I was all ready with 1-inch long crampons and 2 different hand spikes and 100 feet of rope, just so that I wouldn't get stopped from going there. It just didn't work out that way. I'm sorry?
You're not going without me.
I might go to Ricketts. I'll go without you. This is my Odyssey. You could start up Leslie's Odyssey. Love the Ice Mine episode. That one was fun. I didn't think it was going to be that great, and when I got there, that one was a lot of fun. I just wish... a lot of times I call out to these people and I try to work out a deal like, hey, I'll pay for entrance and everything. I'd like to tell a story. I'd like to let everybody know the history behind this. Can I get any special access or a little bit deeper access? And they'll be like, yeah, you can, but you got to tell the story the way we want you to tell the story. And unfortunately, it turns into a, do I tell you the real story or do I tell you the people's story and give you better views? So if you think there's not enough footage or good enough footage at a site, it's because I chose to tell you the history and the real story with no punches pulled versus telling the story that the people wanted me to tell you. Let's see. Oh, there we go. I'm doing a scroll here. Just so you know that what I have in the setup, I got this big light right here so I can't see anything. Then I have a big 40-inch screen, and I have another screen over here on the right that the chat's scrolling up, and over there is the Streamlabs OBS, and down there is a dirty desktop with lots of things. So if you see my eyes going in all different places, instead of looking right here at the little dot on the camera, it's because I'm looking at all the different screen stuff and trying to keep up with stuff. Let's see. Scrolling back up. All right. Lots of fun after my videos researching online. Yeah, you like them rabbit holes, Narnian? they just go on forever. Background on my screen, where is that? That, Dee, is Tituna Cave, which would have been third, I guess it would have been third video that I actually did for the channel. That's the Tituna Cave. It is open to the public, but it is a private cave that is managed by the National Speleological Society. I was really close for a short period of time with the head of the Speleological Society, but in the end, there were lots of comments in my general direction over Facebook of his disagreement with my personal views of things and the way I presented them without presenting them the way large groups of people would like to tell a story versus facts and everything. So we are no longer associated, but that doesn't change the fact that the cave is still open to the public. You just have a series of rules, and they ask you to do things like wear helmets and everything like that, but they're not going to stop you. They definitely won't stop you. Let's see. Hello, Clearfield. That's Cody Zelenki. Love your last name. Let's see. Video like connection shows. Jim S. I would like to see a video like connections show. Please elaborate on that. Send me another message. Let me know what you mean by connection show. Is connections a channel? Let's see. Kathy, a few things here and there, but Colin Steele ruled. Yeah, gonna have to agree with that. Oh, stop doing that. We got that. We got a Williamsburger. Another person, 100% for indentured servants. No. See, here's why my daughter is not a slave and she's an indentured servant. Oh no, Did you hear that? That was the YouTube algorithm saying that they're going to ban me. Anyway, the difference between a slave and an indentured servant is you can get rid of that freaking indentured servant when they're done their time. And then if they come back, you have to recontract them. And oh my word, it's so difficult because like then they want clothing allowances and food allowances. And I mean, come on, get rid of them. Ice mine. Lisa Z, ice mine Trough Creek. Okay, there are 2 ice mines. One ice mine, actually there's 7 ice mines. I have 7 on my list. I've only given you 2. The first ice mine is, yes, in Trough Creek. Did I post the video with the kids where I screamed? Did I scream? And they hit their head on the top. I was a really bad father.
I don't think that was the video.
So there's one at the top of Trough Creek at the end of the road. And that one's pretty cool. You walk down about 40 steps. Halfway down the steps, you go through a thermocline. And then it's a small hole that goes into a room. The room is no more than 3 feet tall, probably 8 feet by 15 feet in size. And you can feel cold breeze out. That one's cool. You only see ice there during the beginning through middle of summer. Toward the end of the summer, it just becomes wet. During the winter, it's flowing water. The other ice mine is all the way up in the Pennsylvania wilds, and it has probably a 6 foot tall, 5 foot diameter hunk of ice that forms during the summertime in it, and that one's a pay-for site. But that one's also very, very interesting. I have videos of both of them out there. Let's see. Grass Flat PA. Hey there, Cody. Hey, I said hi to you already. Wait a minute. Let's see. Did I miss anyone else? Grass Flat, Ghost Town. Yes, there is. I think I actually have that on my list. Let me bring that up while I'm speaking with you guys. I keep track of everything that I have in Microsoft OneNote. I know it doesn't sound like a great way to do it, but if you know how to use OneNote, it's a really good program. I'm trying to type quietly and slowly. Oh yeah, Grass Flat. I have an entire map of the whole Bedby area and Dean Viller's report of some really interesting things there regarding a ghost town. So it is on my list. It is someplace we'll be heading to. Sorry for the clearing my throat. Okay, so information regarding Civilian Conservation Corps. This is G-Man Pump. G-Man, just so that you're aware, I probably have about 5 videos. One's regarding Whipple Dam. One's regarding an abandoned Girl Scout camp. And there's probably 2 or 3, all of them within a 4-month period. And I go very, 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 very deep into the Civilian Conservation Corps. I even go into the political side of the Civilian Conservation Corps and how it was part of the Green Deal before this new Green Deal, and how, although the program worked, how it was heavily focused on the Democrat-Republican Party and hardcore socialistic in its foundations. Yes, great things came from it. Financially, it bankrupted an already bankrupt company or country. And yeah, I go in deep in that. You should probably check them out. I'll try and post some in the description of this video when we're done. Let's see. No, Adam, I don't know the altar at Mount Pisgah on Shade Mountain. I'm copying that right now over to a text document as a must check into. British documentary television series by James Burke, 1978. I will look into that, Jim S., regarding connections, also copying, dropping into a text document while we're speaking. And we'll see what we do. There's a lot of people that I watch. I do watch a lot of YouTube. Gosh, do I watch a lot of YouTube? I pretty much don't watch television anymore. I look for YouTubers who are exploring locations, who are out there and adventuring. I'm not a fan personally of J.R.R. Tolkien. I did like the whole stories that were told and some of his quote, but I don't dedicate my life to him. But one of the things that I did like is the quote about you won't find what you're looking for in books and maps. It's out there. So I look for the people that actually decided to stop looking in the books and stop looking at the maps and go out there and find it, which is why I'm promoting her again, Kathy from Rustic Ventures, Over the Top. One of those people who fully understands the concept of going out there, looking at something, and trying to figure out what it's all about. Big time kudos.